Hi guys, I'm with my friends. There's four of us. We're gonna watch creepy videos about Avatar World.
Come on, baby. Come here. Come here.
Is something scary about Avatar World? I haven't heard about that. So let's see.
It starts here.
Chaos. Hi friends! Today I'm going to tell you a very creepy story that happened at Avatar World Hospital. One morning, a girl named Emma felt a severe pain in her stomach. Her parents sent her to the hospital to be treated. At the hospital, the worst thing to happen in Avatar World in the last 10 years happened, and now I'm going to tell you about it. Emma arrived at the hospital as if nothing had happened, and waited for her turn. In front of her was her grandmother and another girl. The girl's name was Laura. Emma and Laura became friends very quickly while they waited their turn. And so, when the doctor called Laura, she went to him. The doctor was a very friendly girl. Her name was Jocelyn. Jocelyn helped Laura and prescribed her medication. Emma, on the other hand, was much more difficult. Due to severe stomach pain, Jocelyn told Emma to stay in the hospital until the next morning. To support Emma, Laura decided to stay there with her. And then something unusual happened. As night fell, Jocelyn fell asleep, leaving the girls unsupervised. Emma and Laura didn't fall asleep, and they were very hungry by this time, so Emma suggested they go out for hot dogs.
Guys, that's really scary. But why is she moving? She was sick, right, guys? Yeah, how is a sick girl wake up? So, yeah. Let's watch the video.
Performing a double lung and liver transplant on a lung cancer patient had never been done.
Laura agreed, not even knowing how it would end. The girls went to the cafe, got one hot dog each, and had a delicious dinner. When they got back to the hospital, something happened. It turned out that all the doctors had gone home for the night. Instead of one of the doctors, there was a horrible creature sitting in the dark. Emma and Laura thought it was a ghost. While he slept, the girls snuck into their room. At the table next to the room, Jocelyn was sleeping. Emma and Laura immediately started to wake her up. Jocelyn woke up and wondered what was going on. Emma told her that there was a ghost in the hospital that was sitting with an axe. Jocelyn was even more scared. The three girls went to watch him, but the ghost was no longer asleep. He started yelling at them and threatening them. The girls and the doctor were terrified and ran for the exit. But whether they managed to save themselves or not is still a mystery. Even 2 years after this story, the police won't let anyone into the Avatar World Hospital. This is one of the worst tragedies in the city. But the horror story doesn't end there. One day, a girl named Amelia managed to sneak into this guarded hospital and see what goes on there with her own eyes. And there she met the ghost of a nurse herself. On that day, the irreparable happened. Now I'm going to tell you more about this story. One day, Amelia and her friends were camping. They sat around the campfire and started telling scary stories. The first one to start was her friend Mike. He told about a terrible thing that happened to his sister. Mike's sister is the same Emma who saw the ghost with her own eyes. So Mike told his friends about how Emma was attacked by a ghost while they were running outside, and then she, her friend and the doctor, disappeared forever. No one knows what the ghost's name was or where it came from, and except for those three girls, no one has ever seen it. It was a very sad story. All of Mike's friends were horrified by what had happened, but it was too late and they went to bed. In the morning, Amelia went back to her house after the camping. She couldn't think about anything else but the ghost incident. She really wanted to get to the bottom of what had happened that day. When she tried to go to the hospital, a policeman stopped her and told her to go home because it wasn't safe. But Amelia still wanted to know the truth about what had happened. She decided to wait until...
Well, why did you turn it off? Want to play this game? Guys, it's a ghost in that hospital. I didn't know about that. And I was by myself making the video, guys. Sorry. Girl, you shouldn't have called me, but I was so busy doing my skateboard practice.
nightfall and sneak into the hospital through the second entrance. And so, as night fell, Amelia arrived at the hospital. To her surprise, the hospital was totally empty. All the pills, syrups, and instruments were gone. But that didn't matter to Amelia. The girl was very scared, but she kept going. When she reached the ward, Amelia saw the same terrifying ghost standing by the bed with an axe. The ghost immediately started screaming at the girl, but Amelia knew what to do. She had read in a book that if you don't move, the ghost won't touch you. Amelia froze, and finally the ghost calmed down. Then the girl decided to ask it a question, saying, "Who are you?" The ghost remained silent, and after a while it just disappeared. Amelia was shocked. Instead of the nurse's ghost, the ghosts of the victims of that very night, Emma, Laura, and Jocelyn, appeared. Amelia couldn't hold back her tears and started crying. All the ghosts disappeared instantly. As the ghost disappeared, Amelia was spotted by a policeman. He ran up to her and told her to leave the hospital immediately. Amelia sadly left the hospital for her home and was sad for a long time. So the scariest story in Avatar World is still unsolved. Now I will tell you a story about an ordinary girl who found herself in an unusual situation. Her name...
Guys, it might be the same girl or is a boy. Like, I don't know. Let's watch the videos still. For real.
Miss Cheryl. She recently finished her studies and decided to get a job at a small company. She was very happy until a terrible incident occurred. Now I will tell you her story. She was thrilled when she came across an interesting job offer. The job promised good conditions, but the advertisement mentioned strange paranormal phenomena happening within the company. Thinking it was just a joke, Cheryl decided to call and clarify all the details. The person on the phone confirmed that they were expecting her at work the next day. The next morning, Cheryl met her colleagues and explored her new workplace. She liked everything, especially the personal space provided to her. She couldn't believe she had found such a good position so quickly. However, she still had a sense that something was off. While examining a stack of papers she had to process.
Hi, twin.
Cheryl didn't notice a co-worker named Ellie approaching her. Ellie offered help, but Cheryl declined, saying she could handle it herself. During the workday, Cheryl decided to stay late to finish her tasks and earn the respect of her superiors. As all were near a table, as all the other employees had already left, Cheryl continued working. Suddenly, she heard strange sounds coming from the end of the corridor. At first, she didn't pay attention to them, but the sounds grew louder. Cheryl decided to check if any of her colleagues needed assistance. She approached the boss's office and saw a mess inside, but no one around. Deciding to tidy up a bit, Cheryl was about to return to her work. Suddenly, the sounds returned, this time coming from behind Cheryl. When she turned around, she couldn't believe her eyes. Standing before her was a strange creature resembling a child. It had long white hair, pupilless eyes, and appeared like a shadow. Cheryl started crying and, in a panic, ran towards the exit. She could hear the creature laughing behind her. 15 minutes later, Cheryl was already home. The next day, Cheryl received several calls from the company, but she only answered once and informed them that she no longer wished to work there. Cheryl never understood what happened that day, but she didn't want to return to it and preferred not to dwell on the details. For about a month, Cheryl stayed at home, afraid to leave the house after discovering the horrifying things that exist in the Avatar world. After some time, she realized that she couldn't hide forever, and she began searching for a new job. That was the first and last time Cheryl found herself in such a situation. I will tell you the story of a girl named Betty. She recently moved out of her parents' home into a new house and went to the biggest furniture store in Avatar World, but there a very strange thing happened to her. Now I will tell you the story. Betty happily chose various pieces of furniture: a wardrobe, shelves, nightstands. But what worried her the most was the choice of a bed. As she loved comfortable and healthy sleep, Betty tried out almost all the beds in the store, but none of them were right. Some were too soft, and others too hard. Finally, Betty noticed a strange bed with the unusual name Prophetic Dream. As soon as she lay down on it, the girl felt herself falling into a deep sleep. Betty tried to resist, but soon fell asleep. When Betty woke up, the store was already dark, and she was embarrassed by her predicament. But despite this, she knew she wanted to buy this mysterious bed. As she headed towards the checkout, Betty noticed a man standing there and decided to ask him how to get out of the store. Imagine her surprise when she realized this man was a true handsome man. Betty greeted him, told him about her situation, and asked for help finding the exit. The man answered her enigmatically, "Just open your eyes and we'll meet again." Betty didn't understand what he meant and laughed awkwardly again, but the man repeated the same words. And suddenly Betty found herself back on the same bed in the store. It was bright, so she hadn't slept for long. As she was about to leave, Betty noticed the same handsome man and approached him, asking if they had met before, but he said he had never seen her. They chatted a bit, and just as Betty was about to leave, the man offered to meet her again, saying that he was very fond of her. Several years have passed, and now Betty and that man are a happy couple. Thus, Betty found her destiny thanks to this strange bed in the furniture store. The prophetic dream bed is still in Betty's home, as she has never had more comfortable and magical furniture in her entire life.
When you want to feel clean and soft, try new Dial Healthy Hydration Body Wash.
Guys, let's skip. Guys, don't skip. Guys, let's skip the video. Okay.
They slowly approached her, and they were laughing very loudly. Hi friends! Today I'm going to tell you a very scary story that happened at Avatar World train station. On the outskirts of the city lived a mom together with her daughter. For the girl named Isabella, all her life was a mystery where her father disappeared to. Her mom forbade her to ask anything about him. One day Isabella went to school in the morning as usual. At school the girl was constantly teased because she lived in too bad a house. She didn't like it very much, but there was no one to stand up for her. When the little girl got home, she cried and told her mom about it. Mommy was upset, but she had good news for Isabella. The girl's mom had been promoted at work, and now they were moving to a new town. Isabella was very happy. She went to pack her things, and her mom continued to cook dinner. In her missing father's room, she found something strange. It was the last toy that had been lost years ago. Her father had given it to her before he disappeared. Isabella told her mom about it, but Mom was furious for some reason. She told Isabella to throw the toy away immediately and not to take it with her. But the girl did not listen to her and put the toy in her suitcase. At night, the girl and her mom packed their suitcases and went to the train station. There wasn't a single person in the whole station, but Mom and daughter still stayed to wait for their train. When the train arrived, there was no driver or passengers on it. It was very strange. From a dark corner at the end of the station came a terrible laughter. The girls were very frightened. The scary silhouette was coming closer and closer to them. When he got too close, Isabella woke up. It turned out the girl fell asleep during the day, and their train will arrive only in 8 hours. However, the girl was very scared and asked her mom not to move because she was scared. The mom calmed Isabella down, and they did arrive at the train station in the evening. There were lots of people here, not like in Isabella's dream. And so, after a few minutes, all the passengers boarded the train. Everything was fine. However,
Wait, it was good. Was that good? Just kind of. So my parents will be happy. Was that good?
Guys, that's the end of the video.
Okay, good.
Bye.
Our weekend.